I never told my son Marcus that I earned $40,000 a month. To him, I was just a tired, ordinary office worker who lived in a small apartment, wore old clothes, and cooked simple meals. I had been a senior executive at a multinational corporation for 20 years, signing million-dollar contracts, managing thousands of lives, but I kept it secret. Money never defined me. True power doesn't shout. It watches. One Tuesday, Marcus called, nervous. "Mom, Simone's parents are visiting from abroad. They want to meet you. Dinner on Saturday at Le Ciel, the fancy one." His voice carried shame, as if he were apologizing for me in advance. I asked calmly, "What did you tell them about me?" A pause. "That you work in an office, live alone, don't have much?" The words simple stung like a slap. I said, "I'll be there." That moment, I decided to give them exactly what they expected. A poor, naive, broken mother. I wanted to see their real faces when they thought I had nothing. Saturday night, I wore my worst gray dress, wrinkled, shapeless, thrift store quality. Old shoes, no jewelry, messy ponytail, faded canvas bag. I looked forgettable. Perfect. The taxi stopped at Le Ciel. Crystal chandeliers, white-gloved doormen, menus without prices. Marcus stood anxious in a dark suit. Simone wore cream silk and gold. Her parents, Veronica and Franklin, sat like royalty, emerald sequins, diamonds, giant watches. Marcus's eyes widened when he saw me. "Mom!" "Here I am, son." Simone's kiss was cold. Veronica offered a limp handshake, scanning my clothes with open disgust. Franklin barely looked up. I sat at the far end of the table. No one pulled my chair. The French menu arrived. I pretended to be lost. Veronica sighed. "Let me order something simple. We don't want to overdo it." The insult hung in the air. Conversation started polite, then turned venomous. Veronica bragged, $1,000 a night hotel, rented Bentley, a few thousand on shopping. "And you, Ara? What do you do?" "Office work, paperwork, simple things." She exchanged looks with Franklin. "Administrative, honest work." Translation, pathetic. The food came. $80 steaks cut into flowers. "This is worth it," Veronica said loudly. "One can't just eat anything." I nodded like a scared mouse. She kept stabbing. My tiny apartment, my limited salary. How brave I was to struggle alone. How they helped Marcus and Simone with $40,000 down payment plus $15,000 honeymoon. Were you able to help them at all? I answered softly. I gave what I could, a small gift. How sweet, she smiled. The intention matters more than the amount. Then the final blow. Veronica leaned in, fake maternal. Marcus worries about you. It affects his marriage. Franklin and I can give you a modest allowance, $500, maybe $700 a month, so he doesn't have to carry that burden. In exchange, just give them space. Don't visit too often. Don't interfere. A bribe to disappear. Marcus exploded. Mom, stop! Veronica raised a hand. We're talking like adults. She understands. I wiped my mouth slowly. The timid mask fell. My voice turned ice. Interesting offer, Veronica. $700 to vanish from my son's life? Very generous. She smiled victoriously. I continued. Since I walked in, you've measured my worth by my clothes and bag.
You never asked if I'm happy, if I'm healthy, if I need anything. Just calculated I'm worth $700 a month." Veronica paled. "You're misinterpreting." "No," I cut her. "I interpreted perfectly. You despise people who have less. Let me show you how wrong you are."
I told them everything. Age 23, pregnant, abandoned, family disowned me, worked 12-hour shifts, studied at night, raised Marcus alone, climbed from secretary to regional director. Now I earn $40,000 a month, nearly $10 million gross over 20 years. I oversee 5 countries, hundreds of millions in budgets, 10,000 employees. Marcus dropped his fork. Simone gasped. Veronica's mouth hung open. "Mom, why didn't you tell me?" "Because I wanted you to value effort, not inheritance. I wanted you to become a man, not an heir." Simone whispered. "Then why live like this?" "Because real wealth doesn't need an audience." I turned to Veronica. "I came dressed poor on purpose. I wanted to see how you treat someone with nothing. And you showed me beautifully." Veronica stood, furious. "If you're so rich, why did Marcus think you're broke?" "Because I let him. I live simply. I invest. I don't flaunt." Franklin tried. "This doesn't change that you lied." "I lied for one night. You lie every day behind your jewels and private jets." I pulled out my black platinum card, dropped it on the table. "Unlimited limit. Pay the bill. Consider it a gift from the broke, naive mother." Veronica stared at the engraved Aller Sterling, regional director. Her hand shook. Franklin's cards were declined twice. Public humiliation. I slid my transparent Centurion Amex across. The waiter returned in 90 seconds. "All settled, Miss Sterling." I stood. Money doesn't buy class, empathy, or dignity. You have bank accounts. I have self-respect. To Simone, tears streaming, "You knew how they are and stayed silent. Choose better." Marcus hugged me, voice cracking. "I'm sorry, I never asked. I needed you to learn empathy the hard way." Lesson delivered. Outside, Marcus asked, "Will you forgive them?" Forgiveness isn't forgetting. I'll be polite, distant, watchful. In the taxi, the driver noticed my calm. Truth always brings peace, even when it burns. I smiled. He was right. Home in my simple apartment, I felt free. No more masks. 3 days later, Simone showed up. No makeup, jeans, ponytail. I'm ashamed. I stayed silent my whole life. You woke me up. Teach me how to live like you, rich without proving it. I can't teach that. Live honestly. Question every purchase. Is it for me or for show? She promised to break the cycle. Marcus texted, boundaries set, in-laws furious, threatening disinheritance. We chose peace over control. I never pretended to be poor again. I didn't need to. Veronica and Franklin stayed rich in money, poor in soul. Marcus and Simone started building a life based on respect, not receipts. I kept my old apartment, my worn bag, my quiet power. Because the richest woman in the room isn't the one with diamonds. It's the one who doesn't need them to know her worth.